Diving in today, focusing on what do the Democrats want? What do Republicans want? What do conservative Republicans want? What do conservative Republican Christians want? What do the people want? What do you want? Are you part of the people? Or is this just a 1%er, 5%er, 10%? What is the percent of the American people that are Americans want illegals out of the country? What percent of American citizens, want illegals in the country? I think we do have a crisis of white liberal women. And I'm not saying this to be flippant or to be funny, but all the video footage you do see, a lot of these are it's more women. It's more crazed, 30 and up, maybe women, even older. There's sections of protests we've seen, even in the King's Rally, that where'd they get these old people? Did they just go to these old folks' homes and then just offer them a bunch of money to come out and protest? Or are these people just wanting to relive the glory days of the 60s? I mean, most of the 60s hippies are what? In their 70s and 80s. They're fixing to be gone. They're like dinosaurs. I would say I'm more the 70s kid, being a kid, 1975, being 10 years old. I remember the bicentennial year, 76 and 77. I think I was in fifth grade or sixth grade, but it was a big celebration. We had the bicentennial quarters. Y'all remember all of that? But the hippie, what are they wanting to relive? Some liberal elderly people wanting to relive this retardedness. I mean, I know my sister, she's passed away now. She would be in this category of a 60s type of, but she was never a hippie though, but she's a conservative. She would be having none of this. She would be having none of this. But we're going to go through some stuff and look at what's happening with Frey, what's happening in Minnesota, what's happening with the voter fraud coming out of Georgia, where they just went and pulled all of those ballots from Fulton County, and they're all bent out of shape. Well, if they've got nothing to hide, why are they bent out of shape? Well, again, it's up to you to decide on where you're going to fall on these issues. But I have a stack of stuff, and I was like, where to begin with all of this? Where to begin with all of this? Other than, do we want all these illegals? Do we want the borders wide open? I don't know if I have it in my stack of stuff today, but there was something I saw earlier, or it was yesterday, where some libtard woman was saying, we don't need borders. Now, this person was young that was saying this, and I was like, my God, they have no idea what they are saying. Or they're just getting paid to say this, or two, are they really that retarded and stupid? I'm just begging the question, because that's insane. Just to let anybody come in and let the chips fall where they may on, are they criminals? Are they terrorists? Are they pedos? Are they grapers? Are they murderers? Or are they good people? So we just hope for the best, leave the door open. You're going to leave your front door open? Have somebody just come in and raid your refrigerator? That's basically what these people have been doing, and what the Democrats have been doing is basically they've been raiding the American bank to feed these people. Well, anyway, here's a Somalian woman wants to know what Mayor Jacob Frey will do for the Somalian community for the harm that has been caused to them. What harm? What harm has been caused to the Somalian community? Frey promises her financial support from lawsuits he believes that they will win against the federal government. Suing them for what? Somebody make me understand. This sounds like a frivolous lawsuit, and this should be stopped. You should not be able to sue the federal government for following the law. It's illegal to come in the country illegally. You're a foreigner. You've broke the law. Then these people come in and they commit crimes, heinous crimes. Hundreds of people have been murdered. Children, young women, men, murdered at the hands of illegals. Either drunk driving 18-wheelers because Tampon Tim and Gavin Newsom wants to give them CDL licenses. Where does the insanity begin and stop? What is happening? So you have this compound on compound on compound. But again, how can he sue the federal government? There was something I saw last night. They were saying that soon as they regain power, which I have the clip. I think for sure I've got that clip in my stack of stuff. One of the senators, either she's a senator or a representative, we'll find out when I pull it up. She's all like, when we gain power, they're gonna want to arrest all these people in lawsuits against the Trump administration. That's why they want to be able to dox these people, these Border Patrol and ICE agents have their faces so they can bring them to justice when they take over. Guys, if they ever get power again, I mean, you already right now, we're thinking, this is insane. We're not going to be able to recognize our country. Look at Dearborn, Michigan. Look at parts of Texas. This is insanity. If these people get power again, they're going to open up, they're going to tear down that wall, that big, beautiful wall. They're going to tear it down. And these people are going to flood in from all over the world. And then it's going to be chaos. And this is what they want. This is what they want, chaos. And you say, well, Rochelle, no, that's not what they want. They're just caring. We can't care. So can you, in your household, any libtard watching my show right now, since you care so much, then why don't you let a bunch of illegals just come and take over your house? Come and live in your house. Because that's basically what these people are doing. They're letting them just come in and just live in our house. Suck up our resources like locusts. And no, and don't tell me that that's not being Christian. Obviously, we need to render to Caesar what is Caesar's, but Jesus also said we have to abide by the laws. And what is the law of the land of America? You just can't come into the country illegally. This is insanity. So, let's hear this clip. This was on CNN, and this woman's... Freaking CNN's retarded, by the way. So, this is a Somalian woman asking Frey this retarded nonsense.
Frey, what material commitments are you making to community members, our community members, who have been harmed, detained, or have had their loved ones brutalized? As the mayor of the city, what concrete actions will you and the city of Minneapolis take, such as providing financial support, coordinating resources, or pursuing legal action?
Good God.
All of the above, providing financial support, coordinating legal resources, and of course pursuing action. These are actions that are underway, and we need to bolster them even further. So first, we are proactively and responsively suing.
Number one, guys, keep in mind that the Somalian population in Minnesota, at least 75 to 80% of the households in Somalia are on some kind of government assistance. Medicaid, Medi-Cal, food stamps, welfare, subsidized housing, and they're driving BMWs. So I think this was a planted question. I don't think, I probably know. Maybe 99.9. That was a planted question. Obviously, it's CNN, people. And we're dealing with Frey here. But keep that in mind. So he's saying, we're going to give you more resources. We're going to find resources for you because you've been hurt in the community. How have they been hurt in the community? Again, I beg the question. How are they hurt in the community? They go in looking for the fraud that we know there's billions of dollars in fraud. I think I might have a clip of, I think it was today or yesterday, Tampon Tim said, this is all made believe, made up. They just make a reason to come into Minnesota and cause trouble. But this problem is not happening in other parts of the country, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening here, and this may be a test ground for the rest of the libtards to send out their foot soldiers like, wow, look how we're going to be successful. We cannot let them be successful. We cannot let them be successful.
Based on the unconstitutional conduct that is happening in our streets. Second,
how is it unconstitutional? Can somebody tell me? How is this unconstitutional where ICE and Border Patrol, by Article 2, the president's power to go in and remove illegal criminals from the country? How is this unconstitutional? He needs to be arrested for sedition, and he's a Benedict Arnold turncoat. And I would even beg to dip into his past. Is he here legally? Is he even an American citizen? What is happening?
we are working with a number of victims of these unconstitutional actions to try to hook them up with organizations where they can themselves have standing to sue. Third, we have a task force that is set up so that we've got communication channels that are in line so that we get through this most difficult.
Yeah, we know about your communications and set up online. That's y'all's logistic team, your command center to search out ICE officers and then just try to impede their removing these illegals. Yeah, he's probably part of it.
Of situations. And finally, look, our entire city enterprise has been operating over the last several weeks, if not months, to do everything possible that we can to keep our residents safe and to have an emergency response to what's presently taking place. And that includes things like having our community service officers deliver food. These are soon-to-be police officers deliver food for people that would otherwise be afraid to go out of their homes.
Why are they afraid to go out of their homes? Because you guys stirred the pot, incentivized these peaceful protesters to come out. So, I mean, I was saying in my show yesterday or the day before, I was wondering how regular, normal folk who don't want none of this nonsense and want the illegals out, where are they going grocery shopping? They're probably having to leave town, go get their groceries, and come back. But they're legal citizens. Either they're afraid because they're illegals.
This is everything that's happening through.
So now let's spend more money bringing them food. So who's paying for that, Frey? Who's paying for that? Just every time you turn around, it's something, right? Let's give them something. Let's sue. Let's give them support, financial support.
Offices of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs to make sure that they have legal supports in place if and when they need them.
Legal support. That's saying that they're going to wave that magic wand and make them American citizens. Holy moly, guacamole. We don't want to cooperate with immigration authorities because we want illegal aliens to feel safe when calling 911. This is insane.
Why Minneapolis is a sanctuary city, and why you believe being a sanctuary city makes Minneapolis a safer place.
There's a lot of terminology about what is or what isn't a sanctuary city. But in Minneapolis, we have something called a separation ordinance. And what that ordinance states is that we do not work on immigration enforcement. We do not cooperate with federal agencies around immigration enforcement. We do work extensively with federal agencies to protect people and keep them safe. As I mentioned, we've had...
What? So you don't work with immigration authorities, but then at the next sentence, we do work with them, somebody, to keep people safe. Who are you keeping safe? The illegals? And then he makes up something other than, oh, we're not a sanctuary city. We're this other thing. Democrats make shit up as they go.
A number of incidents, many different administrations where we've worked with the federal administration to help. But it's not on federal immigration law. Why? Again, because I want our police spending time protecting the residents of our city, stopping homicides and carjackings, making sure that violent offenders are investigated and held accountable. What the separation ordinance also says is that we won't ask the question as to whether an...
So why is it that when illegals got arrested for DUI, homicide, or they were in some other kind of altercation, you guys just let them out? And this was happening all over the country. We saw this. It was all this catch and release garbage. And then they go on to kill somebody or grape somebody, right? I mean, let's be real. This is what we saw happen. And so, I mean, everything that's coming out of his mouth is so much BS. It's unbelievable.
Individual is documented or not. And here's why. We want people that are undocumented to have the confidence to call 911 without the fear that they'll get deported in doing so. That is a safe...
Oh, my God. Wow.
Safety strategy. That's not an immigration strategy. That is a safety strategy. And by the way...
That's a safety strategy. Again, he's the one breaking the law. These people should not be here. They need to get back at the back of the line and then apply legally. But no, he's going to protect them. We don't want them to be afraid to call 911. What if some other... Look, this is a scenario. So you got illegals living in the same neighborhood. One illegal assaults another illegal. So that illegal is too afraid to call 911. What is happening here? What is happening?
This is a strategy that has been implemented and supported not just by Minneapolis and my administration. This goes back even to Rudy Giuliani, the radical leftist, who said himself that we want people to call 911 and not to have a fear in doing so.
Rudy Giuliani is a leftist? I think they had more stability under Rudy Giuliani than they've had under any of them, because so far they've been electing libtards and just ran New York into the ground. I mean, what is he saying? Good Lord. This is what Frey, Tampon Tim, Gavin Newsom, Mandami, all of these left-wing socialist, communists, Muslims, worship Satan. This is what they want. This is happening in Spain. And we don't want this to happen here, but the left does. You can believe it. This is what they want. And they're going to do everything in their power. Just like Frey was telling you, we're going to sue. We're suing the administration because they're enforcing the law, but we're going to sue them. Because we want these illegals here, because the more people they have, they can have districts. If the more people they have, they can have representation in Congress. And that's what they want. This is all political. It's political power move. Spain just legalized 500,000 illegal aliens to defeat the far right. This is insane. It's not even a secret anymore. By legalizing 500 illegals under the guise of defending the far right, Pedro Sanchez is essentially dropping the mask. This is electoral engineering. The logic is simple. Legalize 500,000 people, fast-track them to citizenship, which takes as little as 2 years for many, and you've efficiently imported a massive, loyal voting bloc that's debated to the left. There you go. And look at this. Indebted to the left. They're indebted to the left. Unless there's some of them who left a very oppressed country and had some sense. Maybe they didn't come from marrying cousins and they had some intelligence. And then they're like, oh man, this is oppressive. We don't want this. We just left here. Which a lot of Cubans and Venezuelans who had came to America, a lot of them vote for the Rubios and President Trump because they came from oppression. They don't want it. They don't want it. And this is just an image of what's happening in Spain. And I can guarantee you this is exactly what the left wants for America. All right, here's Rubio.
This is one of the many reasons that the left freaks out every time Marco Rubio speaks.
One of the things I see a lot in South Florida are people that have been in this country that maybe came from Cuba 45 years ago. They've worked here their entire lives. They retire. They get $800, $1,000 a month from Social Security. And then they run into somebody who just got here from Cuba 3 months ago, is 29 years old, doesn't work, and is given $1,500 a month in benefits by our government because they're refugees. A year later, is traveling back to Cuba 15 times. So you're a refugee fleeing oppression from a place that you now go back and visit 15 times the following year. And in the meantime, we're giving you Medicaid, food stamps, health care for your children, cash payments from the refugee fund. So imagine if you've been working here for 40 years and your Social Security check is smaller than the benefits going to a 28-year-old able-bodied person who just got here. That's real. That happens. That's happening every day. That makes no sense.
This is one of the many reasons.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. You can keep them here, fast-track them to citizenship. This is why during the Biden and Harris regime, they needed more judges. They didn't have enough judges. They needed more judges to hurry up and get this stuff through. But guys, this is what's happening. $1,500 a month. They get food stamps. They get everything. They don't have to do diddly squat. And probably they were in subsidized housing. Maybe they were in some housing. They only had to pay $50 a month or nothing because they're illegal. It's insanity on steroids. You should be getting more and more angrier at this point. We do have a shimmer, a glimmer of some hope happening here. And I hope this continues. This says breaking. Tom Homan confirms Minnesota County jails will now notify ICE when public safety threat illegal aliens are being released. So they can be transferred to ICE agents. This is huge. That's why President Trump deployed Tom Homan. AG Keith Ellison clarified for me that the county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon their release from jail. Now, this is my question, guys. So an illegal goes and commits a crime. We're still in Minnesota, Minneapolis. So the police go arrest them and put them in jail. So apparently the law is, which I think is retarded, where now I don't know if this is every state, guys. So don't hold me to it. I'm just focusing on here. But I read something either last night. They were talking about somebody was complaining about what I'm fixing to say, and they were saying we need to change the law. So they put them in jail. So say whatever they did, they got to serve a year or 2 years or 6 months or whatever it is they have to serve. But the state has to pay for it, right? Whenever somebody's incarcerated, there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's getting paid for. All right, somebody has to pay to incarcerate these people, all right? Which Americans don't mind if their tax dollars are going to incarcerate criminals and get them off the street and we never see them again. The problem is why are we doing this with illegals? Why are they not already informed if they're already charged and convicted of this crime, whatever heinous crime it is? They should be immediately picked up by ICE and sent back to the country of their origin. Or just punish them all by dropping them all in Somalia. Boom. From a helicopter. Just drop them in there. What was that movie, The Island, with Ray Liotta? It was actually a good movie. And The Island was, the surf and everything was so bad that, you know, they couldn't escape the island. But this is how they would drop the criminals. The Island was for criminals. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's an older movie. Ray Liotta, he was the main guy in Goodfellas. He was the main guy in Goodfellas. Ray Liotta. So it's called The Island. I believe that's what it's called. But that's what they were doing. They came at the beginning of the movie. Boom. Just dropped them on that island. I think that's what we should be doing to these leftards. We should just be dropping them. So the point is what do you think? I mean, should we be paying for this? Any city in the United States, if these people are criminals, they committed crimes. Well, they're a criminal anyway if you came into the country illegally. In fact, the poll is showing that 65% of America wants all of them out, not just the ones who are bad. They want everybody out, and then they can come back the right way. But why are we paying to keep them in jail? I mean, what if they committed murder and they got life? What then? What if they get 15 years for manslaughter? So in some states, y'all go look at this. Some states say, well, they got to serve their term and then they go. I mean, am I missing something here? Let me know, because I could be, but that's what I understood. I don't know if it was Arizona or what. I don't know if I have it in my stack of stuff today. But I did see it last night, and somebody was arguing about it. Some state representative and some state in the union was arguing, was saying, why are we doing this? We're spending millions a year on incarcerating these illegals. Why are we not giving them to the Border Patrol, to ICE, and let the administration just go dump them in the country of origin? Okay, this is, maybe I should have did this one first and then the other one, but we needed some good news. So hopefully they are doing that in Minnesota, that they're working with ICE and they're going to contact them when these people are going to be released. But that's just yet to be seen, right? I mean, this says, why did they release people into the interior of the United States rather than put them into an ICE bed? Why not put them in an empty ICE bed for $127 a night instead of a hotel at $500 a night? And why would it cost $127 a night? The Biden-Harris terrorist administration did it on purpose, because when you put them in an ICE detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. It's seditious. It is designed to overthrow the constitutional republic of the United States. That's, guys, from the story we were just reading about Spain. This is what the left wants. They want this instant where they can get more people, so they can get congressional seats in Congress and votes. Votes, and more votes.
Bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone. But if you release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings could be 5, 7, 9 years if you pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then? That another Democrat administration is in power.
Yep.
They can award an amnesty to millions. This is about selling this country out for future political power. That's what it was. The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing. Catch and release is over. That's what the law says, and that's what we've done. Bed, they get a hearing in 35 days.
And that's exactly what they want. And you better believe it. And it is not a conspiracy. It is right in our face. Manufactured votes. Manufactured more population in certain states. They're going to get more seats. So really, this whole show is focusing on the retardation that the left is perpetrating on America. And these are smart Lex Luthor diabolical plans that they've have for us and still have for us. This is crazy. Democrat AG hopeful Elliot Forhan openly called for the assassination of President Donald Trump and now wants to be the state's chief law enforcement officer. Unbelievable. The Ohio bar demands good moral character. Advocating murder fails that test. It should be disqualified for him today. Which that should have been no question. This guy should be disbarred. We don't elect people who cheer for political violence. Ohio rejects the death cult. And here you go. If you don't believe me, the guy said it. You'll see.
When you talk about toning down the rhetoric, I want to call into something that, Mehek, you've
All right, hold up a sec.
been posting about, because you have someone who wants to be the top law enforcement person in Ohio, where you were raised. So he's a Democrat AG candidate in Ohio, and this is what he is saying, threatening to kill President Trump. And he thinks somehow this will appeal to voters. We'll play this and get your reaction on the other side.
I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment.
Elliot Forhan. You know anything more about him, Mehek? And as an attorney, what do you think?
That's really all you need to hear. Basically, is this moron. Am I gonna? There you go. There you go. What grounds would you go after President Trump for enforcing the laws of the land? Nobody said nothing about Obama deporting whatever it was, 10 million people, putting people in cages. He even gave Tom Harmon a medal. He was his guy. Not a peep from the left. It's insane, this selective outrage, because I guess they're in a panic mode that they have to control this because the fraud is in the trillions, guys, all across the country, has been funding this organizations, sending stuff to terrorist groups, trying to disrupt the whole entire world. And that's not a conspiracy theory. It's not. Where's all this money going? They're already saying there's ties to terrorist groups. This is to disrupt societies, especially Western societies, and I don't think there's any hope for Europe, Great Britain, UK, unless they do something today. They're done. They're done. They're irrelevant. I've listened to Constantine, the trigonometry, and Constantine's saying they're done. What are they going to do if they don't do something now? I mean, they're just letting these illegals pour in. The Muslims are taking over. There's going to be Sharia law. They got mosques everywhere. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But this moron, and this is what the left wants. They just keep creating chaos. They keep throwing out lawsuits. They keep doing this. They keep doing that. And you know what? The people on the right, Trump, our administration, we've been too soft. Why don't we start I'm not saying be exactly like them, but go after them with the law like they did with us, like they did to him. And this is legitimate. This you have standing. You have standing to go after these people. In fact, the judges said that Trump and this other guy had standing on questioning the election, which that's what a lot of it, what they were throwing lawsuits at Trump was for. They wanted to shut him up, shut him down, bankrupt him because they did cheat. Let me know what you think. Does this guy have a point? Should we be able to arrest Donald Trump for enforcing the laws? Should we? We're going down the line of the absurdity of the left. This is Elizabeth Warren. All right. And she's telling the story of Alex Pretty, okay? Now, there had been new footage that just came out, I believe it was yesterday, of him. This is Pretty right here. Right here. Right. So he's had run-ins with ICE. He's a paid activist. He's out here doing these things. And this was probably a week or so before he was killed. But this is Elizabeth Warren. This is all these retards come out and say, what a model citizen. He's a nurse. What a model citizen. Such a nice guy he is. And he's so calm and collective and sweet. You'd want your daughter to date him and give you some grandchildren. Good Lord. I think she was saying all of this. A lot of them were saying all this before they are just retarded, or they just don't care.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm.
Wow.
Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure. Caring for people was at the core of...
I don't know if I kept the clip, but I need to find it. When he is being swung around by the police, let me see if I can get it. Let me see. There he is right there. Maybe it's not going to be in this one. Let me see. Is it right? That's still in front of him. Am I gonna get it? I guess not. It's not in this clip. There's another clip I saw earlier where he has his weapon here while he was doing that. But you see how he spit at them, and then he kicked and broke the back tail light, which is, y'all know, vehicles, man. That's probably going to cost over $1,000 to fix that on that vehicle. But she was like, he had a light, and he was just so calm, and he was so good, and he was good to people. Really? You're spitting at law enforcement and kicking their vehicle and then struggling with them? And then struggling with it. Look what he did to the car. But he's so peaceful. Yep, that's Elizabeth Warren. I don't know if the people in, what, is she in California? What state is she in? The retard. She keeps getting elected. Yeah, because they're cheating. I said it. Walt says, Pretty hit at the best of us, doing activities that are at the core of what it means to be an American. So what it means to be an American is to go out, protest against and interfere, not just protest, but interfere with law enforcement operations, federal law enforcement operations, carrying a weapon, creating problems. But this is what it means to be an American, spitting at them and then kicking and damaging their vehicle. Okay, that's what it means to be an American. The peaceful protesting.
What they did was, and with Renee Good, what they did is they hit at the best of us, doing activities that are at the core of what it means to be American. What they did was, and with...
Need I say more? Need I say more? So Stephen Miller posts on X, the Democrat Party yearns and fights and struggles for nothing more than a fully open border to the third world low IQ invaders. I added that last part, by the way. Greg Price says if you give Democrats power again, they will make the 4 years of Biden's open border look like a child's play birthday party. You can believe all that, ladies and gentlemen. That is what that's going to look like. It's not going to stop. They're going to get hundreds of millions in here. And you be damned. And you Americans be damned. Is she even an American citizen? What is happening? We need to pass some laws, man. You got to be third, fourth generation born before you're elected to anything. Anything. You have to prove your allegiance to America. This is Representative Palamara Japal, Democrat, Washington, Walla Walla, says, as soon as we get the gavels back, we have to dismantle DHS and ICE and CPD. She wants no immigration enforcers, ergo, no America. Japal, I guess that's how you say her name, I don't even care, was born in India. The crap hole of India. You know, we used to always think that Indian people were smart. We were lied to for a reason. They're on that low IQ map, baby. It's always the same map. Their IQ is terrible. They are not smart. Japal was born in India. How about we don't let foreign-born serve in U.S. government? I agree. Either you're third or fourth generation. And that we need to track you, man. Are you in college spouting Allah Akbar? Or let's have them fada. We're for Palestine. Screw Israel. Screw ICE. Screw Trump.
We really need to, as soon as we get the gavels back, we have to dismantle DHS and ICE and CBP. And we have to reconstruct them to what they really should be doing. Remember, don't let people tell you that these are agencies that have always existed and they need to exist. They didn't exist before 9/11. We really need to.
Well, we always had Border Patrol. So, do you really think? So what do you replace it with? What is her goal?
Construct them to what they really should be doing.
And what should they be doing? She doesn't allude to it. She just goes on to say, well, they didn't really exist until after 9/11, but she's not going to give us, like, what should they be doing? Right? If they're designated to get illegals out, hunt down terrorists, which we do not want to get rid of that. Now, do we? Do any of you libtards out there want that? You decide. What does America want? Do we want to get rid of all these programs? DHS? She wants to abolish DHS. Abolish ICE. Abolish CBP. And replace it with what? Or what should they be doing? Because she never answers the question. What should they be doing? Just I have questions, and they do not have answers. Because they want the open borders, ladies and gentlemen. They want the illegals that are here to stay here, whether they've committed heinous crimes or not. So, Stephen Smith was a commentator on ESPN. Who the hell watches that anymore? Yeah, I'm done with sports. I've been done with sports for a long time. I used to love watching tennis. I loved watching pro ball. I never enjoyed the college, and I know a lot of people love their college. That's fine. Go enjoy, right? That's a good American thing to do. But I used to love to watch the football games, watch the Super Bowl. But then it got political. Like you go to watch the sports to just get away from the day and enjoy a game. They're hitting, they're tackling, they're throwing. It's exciting. Nope. They got to start like, I'm not putting my hand over my heart. Oh, at one of my son's basketball games about 2 weeks ago, one of the refs Yep. One of the refs did put his hand over his heart when we stood up for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So we stood up, we all said a prayer, right? We prayed, and then we pledged allegiance to the flag. And he just stood there with his hands behind his back. I said, good Lord. Yep. Right there in front of everybody. And we were in a church. We were in a church. Yep. The school had a big gym there, and the school was having the basketball game. But anyway, it just got too political. Then they started doing, now later on, I'd see news briefs and they started doing stupid stuff like putting slogans at the end of the end zone, like we can all be together. It's retarded. Why didn't all of y'all just stop watching it? And then they'd stop it. But I don't know much about this Stephen Smith. I assumed he was a leftard, and maybe he's jumped the fence to the right side. But this is what he says. Stephen Smith has an unexpected moment of clarity about ICE. Really? Really? It all started when he read a headline about Pam Bondi demanding that Minnesota authorities allow ICE to interview and remove individuals from state jails. That's where it gets interesting, Smith says. He was baffled as to why Democrats, and we are all baffled, would put up such a fight against ICE when the agency goes after criminals who have already committed an offense unrelated to crossing the border and simply request access to the local jails. Now, then I think we need to go after the other ones, by the way. And I think most of Americans want it. We're done. What is wrong with ICE and the feds insisting that the states let you into their jails to get these individuals and deport them back to where they came from, Smith asked. He noted that millions of American citizens are not going to have a problem with that, realizing that opposing such a basic request isn't just dangerous, it's really stupid and retarded. There you go. And if y'all don't know who he is, that's him right there. That's Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, I think he was on CNN. Not CNN, on ESPN. Oh, well, ESPN became CNN, didn't it? They just got real political. I couldn't stand it. All right, now we're going to switch gears into the voting. This is all about the illegals. It's all about stopping ICE to get them out. And it's all about keeping in power and cheating in elections. Cheating in elections. This is how they won. And we already know that there have been the testimony. I didn't think I put it in my stack of stuff. There was some testimony that the guy that was fooling with the machines said somebody came in where they were voting, did something to the machines, and there was no oversight on it. And it was dealing with these other countries were involved as well. Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts at Election Warehouse says the 2020 ballots are no longer safe and secure because they are out of the Fulton County's control. All right. They have been removed from this facility out of our control. We don't know where they're being taken. We don't know what's going on, what's going to happen to them. I don't think they're going to burn them, my guy. Despite Chairman Pitts giving Fulton County an A+ rating for their handling of the 2020 election, Fulton County hired one of Georgia's top 10 criminal defense lawyers after a judge unsealed the ballots. One would think Fulton County meticulously ran a flawless election, then a transparent audit would simply reflect that, and no criminal defense lawyers would be needed. And this is him. This is him. Good God. Somebody, maybe I have it in the other stack. There's a congressman. He's either a senator or a congressman, and he's putting a bill together for term limits. And we've been saying this for years, ladies and gentlemen. All my comrades out there, we've been saying this for years. These people have made careers out of screwing America. Hey, there's been career Republicans as well. No, we need to stop this madness. Stop the madness. He says we're screwed. Yeah, we are. So, who is this right here? Is this his top DEI hire attorney? Yeah, I said it, man. I said it. Y'all go Google the stats on DEI hires for flying planes. Oh, yeah. I was going to do a story on it, but that could be a whole nother show. So I can't get sidetracked on that. But good Lord, the stats are bad. Would you rather have an old white guy who's been doing it for decades or a young foreigner of color, because most of them are, DEI hire, had a lower standard on flying this huge plane? You take your pick. What do you want? I know which one I would want. Holy moly, Fulton County Commissioner Dana Barrett is losing her you-know-what after the FBI raided an election center over potential fraudulent in 2020 ballots. She's screaming at David Connect. Fraud is mega conspiracy theories. So, again, back to that story. It's all theory. It's we're all wearing our tinfoil hats when we already saw testimony about these machines. We're flipping votes to Trump like nobody's business. Come on, man. Come on.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there. We went around Fulton County the last few weeks and we see that people are currently registered to vote in places like empty lots, homeless shelters that closed 10 years ago. What would you do if you become Secretary of State to address that?
I'm not going to reply to conspiracy theories.
It's not conspiracy, it's a current...
I believe it. I believe what that guy just said. He says that there were people voting at places that don't even exist. And what did we see about when Nick Shirley came out with all the daycare fraud and all of that stuff? Some of them were just empty buildings. When they went to this one, it was an apartment complex. And his second video, ladies and gentlemen, there were supposed to be offices, and they were getting millions of dollars a year. So they go and find the address, and the address is on the government database, because David had all this information. And guess what? They go, it's an apartment complex. It was for the non-emergency. They were just non-emergency Uber drivers for people who are probably disabled or just got out of the hospital and maybe they needed somebody to drive them. But that wasn't happening. So it was a company like that was registered. Their address was at an apartment complex. And then she said, that's just right-wing conspiracy, that there was people voting that there were places that didn't exist, that had addresses that don't exist. We already know dead people vote, and they've been voting for decades. This last election for President Trump, his daughter-in-law was going around and making sure that the states turned over data, court orders. Boy, they were on the ground, man. It was a tough job for them to do, because they're supposed to clean their registers, right? Probably every year. I think they should do it quarterly or every 6 months, whatever, because people leave, right? So you still have people registered to vote. You have dead people registered to vote. So they need to be clearing their voter registry, and a lot of these blue states have not. And I wonder why.
You can currently go on the voter rolls, purchase them for $45, and go there with us. We will gladly take you if you want to go to...
I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not going to respond to conspiracy theories.
How is that a conspiracy theory? It's an active voter rolls. If you're going to be running for Secretary of State, you're in charge of maintaining the voter rolls. Don't you care about if people are registered to vote from empty lots?
Questions. I appreciate it. I've got to.
Do you think it's a conspiracy theory that people are registered to vote from empty lots, though? Well, I have the ability to go wherever I want to. People are currently registered to vote in empty lots, Commissioner. And if you're going to run for Secretary of State, aren't you going to at least take a look at that? It took me $45 to purchase the voter rolls, so you can do that as well for the Fulton County. And you can see that people are registered to vote from empty lots, they're registered to vote at a MARTA bus station. Are you not going to do anything about that? You're just going to call that conspiracy theories again? We have exact addresses that you can go to right now, 205 Elm Street Northwest, it's an empty lot. You can go there right now and see it for yourself. Do you not care about that? You're an elected official and you don't want to address that?
Where is she walking and where is this place they're at?
Commissioner, if you're going to be running for Secretary of State, and that involves maintaining clean voter rolls in one of the most important counties outside in the United States.
I think what you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there. Jason, right? People are currently registered to vote there. We're not saying people are voting there, Commissioner. We're saying clean the rolls. Jason, so she said that it's a conspiracy theory. Let me actually.
Okay, so why couldn't she? I mean, look, any one of you normal thinking people, somebody come up and ask you this, you'd go, "Oh my God, we need to get to the bottom of this." Instead of her response is, "I'm not going to answer that because it's conspiracy theory and blah 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 blah." That means you come already out defensive. You're already like blockading him. No, that's just conspiracy theory. It's not. Everyone in the country knows that there's going to be falls through the cracks, that there are going to be people who are registered to vote that shouldn't be voting. It's just a fact, or dead people didn't get taken off the register. She could have just said, you know what, we do need to look into this, and we need to do a better job at cleaning out our voter registrations to make it fair and safe elections for everybody. How simple is that? It sounds logical to me. I don't know. The FBI is currently raiding the Counts Department of Registration and Elections Office, according to Fulton County Commissioner Mo Ivy Esquire. What the hell is this? What? She says Trump's FBI is trying to take the archived 2020 election ballots. I think she's prepared to go down with the Titanic. What is this? What? Yeah, the ship is sinking. They hit an iceberg, and it's Trump. She's going down with the Titanic. She's dressed for it.
Hi, everybody. Listen, I know you're watching the news. You're seeing a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County Elections and Registrations. I'm on the inside right now. So I just want you to be like real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, like they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it, and they came back and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots, how do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it? So this is an attempt to take your vote away. This is all about November 2026, about the primary on May 19th and then the November election. He does not want the midterm elections to take away his power. So he's trying to create chaos. So this is what he does. Chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Fulton County. We are a target. Protect your vote at all costs. I'm telling you, everybody always says your life depends on it. Oh, your life does depend on it this time.
It looks like she needs a one of those safe round things you throw that are on the boat. She needs one of those. One of them lifeline thingies, because the Titanic is going down. The Titanic is going down. She's saying, oh, it's all about the vote, that he is going to cheat. Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all think for 1 second? It's them. It's the Democrats have been cheating. They lie. Look what's happened in Virginia. I've got a bunch of stack of stuff to do a whole segment, a whole show on Virginia. Spewberger, Jones, they're gonna ram stuff through so fast in Virginia, y'all. It's gonna make your head spin, and y'all are gonna look like California. You're gonna look like California. But she lied to y'all about affordability. They're gonna raise y'all's taxes. They're just going in. They're just hammering y'all. They're gonna punish you. They're going to punish you. And I think they stole the election there. So yeah, we need election integrity. They want illegals to vote. It's just the hypocrisy just knows no bounds. Oh my God. Newscomb says you will not have a country if he rigs this election. We don't have a country because y'all did rig the election. You did rig the 2020 election. Biden opened up the floodgates and let all these illegals in. And look at your state. What are you saying? Your state is the biggest crap hole, one of the biggest crap holes in the country. You spent billions on homeless, but you still have massive homeless. Nothing has been done. You spent billions on a train that no tracks have been laid. And this guy wants to run for president? How about the fires? No water because you rerouted the water to go out into the ocean because of a fish. So you'd rather the water go to the ocean than go to people who need it. It's retarded. That's what they did. That's what they have been doing in California. And then they want to redistrict the map so they can get even more representatives for the left-wing agenda. You will have a president who will be running for a third term, mark my word. I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat. Man. Boy, you got trolled, man. You got trolled.
Well, I think it's pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. She said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. They'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. She said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States. I said,
well, authoritarian techniques about the President of the United States. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep reminding you. What did Biden and Harris regime do to the American people? Open the floodgates. Stifled our free speech. Shut your speech down. You could not talk about COVID. You could not talk about the shots. You couldn't say anything against the regime. They shut down people's YouTube accounts. They shut down people's Twitter's accounts. Zuckerberg came out. YouTube came out. They all came out and said, yeah, we were pressured by the administration to censor your speech. So you tell me, what is fascism? I don't see Trump telling these trolls that are on X or on YouTube to shut them down. They're all spouting nonsense. Trump's not pressuring them to censor their speech. But that's why they hate Elon Musk. Because everybody has a voice now. Because X was probably so bad when it was Twitter, it was all one voice. It was just one echo chamber. There was no diversity, which I thought the left wanted diversity. I thought they were all inclusive and diversity. And transparent. Apparently they're not transparent.
I said in a moment ago, wake up, America. Wake up.
We have.
You will not have a country if he rigs this election.
We wouldn't have a country if you guys stayed in power. You can guarantee that. You tell me, you leftists who are watching this, Okay? So if we kept the floodgates open and they just kept pouring in here and pouring in here and pouring in here, what is that what you want? Is that what you want? Seriously? We won't have a country. There's no country without borders. That's just common sense.
You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history. Doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism.
Doesn't believe in free enterprise? What are you saying? He's trying to bring manufacturing back to America, which the left pushed everybody out because of government regulations. They all left the country. We've been getting screwed for years until he came up with the tariffs. What are you saying? What of all your retarded regulations where you have shut down? You were telling 18-wheelers that by a certain year, they all have to be electrical. 18-wheelers. It's retarded. Do you know? They would probably have maybe 2 freezers of food because the rest of the cargo is batteries. This is insane. This is what they want to do in California. I think Trump has put a stop to it. Windmills killing birds don't produce any power whatsoever. Minuscule. Oh, you can't. Now you can't buy any more gas-powered lawnmowers, blowers, trimmers, all of this stuff that these big companies in California that take care of everybody's lawn, makes everything look beautiful. And like, what are they gonna do? They gotta buy all these damn batteries. And then what? When the batteries die, they go end up in the landfill. Y'all see who is what? Like right in her face. I guess they really think there are a lot of stupid people out there who believe everything he says.
He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. He's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on.
How is President Trump lawless? He's enforcing the laws of the land. He's taking off all these regulations on automobiles. He's getting them to build more cars in the country. What are you saying? Your state is a disaster area. You guys are in the negative. Y'all are running out of money. And there's so much fraud, guys, and I'm looking forward to the next wave is probably going to be California after Minnesota. We're almost done. I just got 2 stories left, so maybe we'll get through my whole stack of stuff of my show I prepared for today. Holy moly! Donald Trump just torched Gavin Newsom for turning the wildfires into a national emergency, and now feds are taking over permitting and rebuilding. See, they you know what? It was going to be like Maui, guys, and I know that is a conspiracy with the whole thing that happened in Maui. And so they could just take over. Either corporations or whatever can come in and get the land. I don't think that's too far-fetched. And I guess what they're going to insinuate here is that they were going to get the land and put out subsidized housing so they could have more illegals in because they need to house these people. Because we're scrambling for housing and jobs because we're competing with the illegals. I am putting Lee Zeldin in charge of the permits. Everyone gets immediate approval and a 10% bonus for the suffering they have been put through. I want them back in their homes, and I don't want a big section of low-income housing. That's not the American dream. Trump says the federal government will override local authorities because they're incapable of getting it done. And it's true. Those people are still waiting for paperwork. He called it what it is, a national emergency caused by incompetence. Leadership is back. Action is back. No excuses. Guys, there were no water in the fire hydrants. There was no water. They knew they should have been cleaning around the electrical power lines, cleaning out a perimeter, cleaning all of that up. And nope, they weren't doing it because they might disturb some wildlife. Oh, we got to divert the water and divert it to the ocean. So, nope, you can't use it to farm with or to use it for fire hydrants, but because of a silverfish. These people are retarded. They knew exactly what they were doing. So Trump's getting in there, and good, but no, Trump, we're not going to have a country anymore because of Trump. Trump's giving these people 10%. They're going to get to rebuild their homes, and it's not going to be turned over to some Section 8 low IQ third world invaders to move in. Uh-oh.
Viver de privilege case, aí sabe uma que é a menina.
Donald Trump, Homeland Security. Let's see. More bad news. Update. President Trump zeroes in on Newsom as megastore Walmart shuts in California, rattling the economy. It's so bad, Walmart can't handle it. Billion-dollar company. World's largest employer, Walmart, at $22 per hour wages, can't afford to stay in an open communist California. $22 an hour to work at Walmart. What happened to these jobs like fast food and all of this to be a stepping stone to another job? Guys, I don't know what's going to happen with AI, but I did see an interview, and I think it was a little bit of an older interview with Elon Musk. Not too old, maybe a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months, but they were asking him about AI robotics, right? And so the guy interviewing him was asking him, because we've all seen those, I don't know if y'all have, but there's been images where the AI could see things in an X-ray that the human eye can't, and they detect the things and stuff. There's been documentation on this, right? So he was asking him, so how long do you think it'd be for AI to be as good as a human doctor? He said like 2 or 3 years or so, but he said, I guess in 5. Now, I'm just paraphrasing, but you get the point. He said it's going to be where they're going to be better than a human. This is an AI doctor. An AI doctor. So the guy asked Elon Musk, he says, well, I guess so, like within 10 years to 5 to 10 years, maybe they'd be better or something to that effect, or where they were discussing how long it takes a person, a human being, to become a doctor. Whatever kind of doctor, is a neurosurgeon, heart surgeon, this specializes in these things. Should they even go to school to do this? He said no. Elon Musk said don't even bother. I was like, what? Don't even bother going to school to be a doctor, because guess what? The AI robotics is gonna take over medicine for humans, according to Elon Musk. Y'all can go research it, because I was like, wow. More bad news for Gavin Newsom. The world's largest employer, Walmart, is closing 250 stores in California, citing $22 per hour minimum wage. Leaves them on competitive with their smaller profit margin. That's a big number. This man has the 5th largest economy in the world and has more than $20 billion budget deficit, and he wants to be president of the whole United States. And the sad part is there will be more than 60 million people that will vote for him. We always want to give the truth here. So, Grok tells me about the post we just read from Homeland Security. All right. President Trump zeroes in on Newsom as megastore Walmart shuts in California. All right. So, here's what Grok is telling me. I researched it. It says, the Post promotes a debunked claim that Walmart is closing 250 stores in California due to a $22 minimum wage. But official data from the California Department of Industrial Relations confirms that the 2026 statewide minimum is $16.90 per hour. And Walmart has only shuttered at a handful of underperforming locations. So they have closed down some stores. It features an image of Trump, reshared post from a pro-MAGA commentary account, farming the closures as economic fallout from Gavin Newsom's policies amid heightened political rhetoric targeting California's leadership. Thread replies show partisan split, with supporters amplifying anti-Newsom's views on wages and crime, while fact-checkers note the misinformation origins in extravagant social media narratives, underscoring challenges in verifying viral economic claims. Impact of minimum wage hikes, Walmart's corporation strategies. Well, there you go. So, it was a sensationalized story. But again, guys, these stories can get you all flared up, and then boom, you're like, what? But hey, we all know Gavin Newsom is a retard. California is in a big hurt. Now, I already know that a lot of stores in, like, say, San Francisco, all the downtown area, there's all shut down. Businesses have moved out. Grocery stores in a lot of areas, and this was 2 years ago. Grocery store, because I did reporting on it. Grocery stores were closing down in areas because of theft. They weren't catching people. They were just not doing anything. Not doing anything. And if they did, they'd just catch and release them. So nothing was being done, and it's just snowballed. But Gavin Newsom wants to be president of the United States. He would be worse than Biden. I don't know. Good Lord. I don't know what to say. This last one. Eric Adams in 2023. If we keep spending money on migrants like this, it's going to blow a $12 billion hole in the budget. I remember him saying that. I remember seeing these people getting brought in, lined up outside those hotels, brought into the hotels, and Adams was like, we can't sustain this. I remember him standing on the floor at some committee meeting they had, and he was like, we can't do this. But they did it anyway. Mandabi in 2023. That's right-wing propaganda. This is what he's telling Eric back then. Mayor Mandabi in 2026. Eric Adams, without warning, left us a $12 billion deficit. You can't make this stuff up, people. You just cannot make this stuff up. This is insane. I got a post here from Eric Adams himself. I apologize. Eric Adams himself. He was the previous mayor of New York. He says, in case anyone was wondering, this was the real motive behind today's press conference. Mayor Mandami promised a laundry list of free giveaways, we all heard it, to buy votes, with no plan to pay for them. Yeah, he was saying he was just going to tax the rich. Now that the math doesn't work, he must have graduated from the Leering Center. Instead of owing the fact that he misled New Yorkers, he's blaming me. Oh, yeah, left loves to blame the other person. Let's be clear. I left over $8 billion in reserves. This is the same Mandambi who spent years attacking me for not spending enough during the migrant crisis. The only reason why those reserves existed is because I ignored him and his socialist comrades who demanded we blow billions with no safeguards. Free isn't free. It's just a bill someone else has to pay. Unbelievable, right? And here we go. And this is what we have. This is what we have. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we learned something. A little thought-provoking. Go do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word. Go research things yourself. Find out for yourself. Don't listen to people. And if you're not sure, it's like, wow, well, it makes sense, but I need to go double check it. Okay? Start thinking for yourself. We need to get back to critical thinking. Critical thinking is what we need in schools. Like, subscribe, share, you want to. And always remember, don't be a retard.